I'm Richard Lewis, reporting for cadred.org, and I'm here with a player I'm sure you know plenty about, the ever talkative, the ever controversial, the ever well-known figure of Naniwa. So, first thing I want to ask you, how does this Intel Extreme Masters measure up? Because in the past you've been critical of the tournament. Have they made the improvements that you talked about last time around?
The last time it was computer problems, and that was fixed. But they made some new mistakes this one.
Such as?
I was sitting down playing, and from behind I got grabbed by JYP for about 10 seconds while in-game, in the tournament. It's not JYP's fault, he couldn't know, but they need to realize that such things can happen. You can't have like fans and the players right beside each other, like in tournament mode. So I think I hope they consider it to the next tournament to like move the thing back a bit, so that you can't like grab the players, because it happened like more than once to me.
You've also made comments about the open bracket system. What are your thoughts on that, just for those that maybe don't know? And what would you have? You know, you've talked about how when you've got that kind of open bracket system, that you have to play a lot of games against players, you know, that maybe you wouldn't play against ordinarily. So,
well, I don't really mind it. The first tournament I won was that kind of way, Dallas, MLG. But it's really hard for me to adjust to it, because I played only like GSL in 2011, like only GSL I think, almost. So I'm used to practicing like 2 weeks for one player and seeing all their VODs and picking out games and so on, but here I just have to like play on the fly. Yeah. So it's just really hard for me to adapt to this kind of thing again.
Do you think of yourself as a perfectionist? Because when you go to tournaments, one of the things that comes up is if things aren't 100% up to standards, you seem to be the player that's the most vocal about it. You seem to be the player that's the most objecting to anything not being completely correct, and it seems to impact on your performances. I guess first of all, do you think that's true?
It definitely affects my performance. That part I agree on. And obviously I am vocal. People like to write about me, apparently.
Yeah. We'll come to that, don't worry.
Okay. Well, I played Warcraft 3 for around 6 years, I think. Not pro, but semi-pro. There is this player, do you know Todd?
Yeah.
He was at a lot of tournaments, and I think he made like the famous one where he dropped out of the tournament because it was too hot. I think that's a bit too much, but if no one says anything about the bad conditions, they will never be changed. I know that it is not always in my best, like, in a PR view, but someone has to improve the conditions. Even if it gets me in a bit of trouble, I want this to become like, the conditions to become better and better. Not just like accept bad conditions, like, if you give a Korean like half the keys on a keyboard and tell them to play, they'll fucking play. But it shouldn't have to be that way.
Okay then, do you think maybe you get an unfair kind of portrayal in the esports media? Because let's say, for example, there's other characters in gaming that take it upon themselves to represent the interests of players and to challenge tournaments and to challenge organisations and how they should behave. Yet when you do it, people seem to say you're some kind of bad guy. Does that play on your mind? Do you think it's fair?
Well, it's not fair. Like, obviously you reap what you sow to some extent, but I don't think I've been that bad of a person that I deserve all the hate I've gotten. But I guess some other figures in the community have done their very best to portray me as a very bad person, and
why do you think that is, though? Why would you be the target of so much negativity from other players, from fans? You know, why would people single you out? It seems crazy that you would be the guy.
People always, I don't know how to explain it properly in English, but I'll try. If somebody is not the same as everybody else in a certain way, people start to criticize it just because you're different in a way. Like, I think I have some very strong characteristics, traits. Like, I'm very honest. I always speak my mind. I don't care about the consequences, and that's not always appreciated by everybody. But I just do my thing a lot of the time, and I understand that it will get some hate, and it's just very easy because I'm very public, I guess.
When you see all that hate coming at you, I mean, do you sit there and, I don't know, some people do this, they'll sit there and they're like F5, even though they know it's going to be bad, they feel compelled to read it. Are you like that, or do you just ignore it?
In the beginning I read it all, but after a while I just, like, no matter what it was about, it was the same thing said all over again. No matter if it was like really bad or good, or it's just the same comments over and over. So eventually I just blocked it out.
Does it hurt your feelings? I mean, seriously, it's such a hard thing to admit to, I think, in anything, to say, yeah, that actually hurt me, that made me upset. I think it's hard to show that kind of almost weakness, if you like, in esports. But does it? Does it upset you?
It upsets me, of course. Even if people think I'm like emotionless and I don't get nervous and no feelings whatsoever, I'm actually a very sensitive guy, to be honest. I get very easily affected by my surroundings, which is why I tilt very easily when the conditions are bad. But I always take into consideration that some people will just say whatever they want to cause a reaction. But I get sad sometimes, but now I know who to like take seriously or not. For example, I guess I can say Idra, whatever, I don't care if I get hate for no reason, but for example, him calling me out saying I'm a horrible person and so on, for no reason, like, we didn't speak in person like 1.5 years. And yet, I don't know.
I'd have thought of all the players that would understand what it's like to be singled out. I'd have thought Idra would be the guy that maybe had the most understanding of that, but apparently not.
I guess not, but it doesn't really matter to me. It's just, I understand some of the hate, but they just keep fueling on for no reason. And to be honest, I know I've been very immature in some things I've done in gaming, but I've always apologized when I did wrong.
Well, can you think of anything specifically that maybe, you know, might be the reason why people target you? Is there anything, I know, that maybe you've done that you kind of regret, or?
It's not like a certain thing, it's more like the arrogant attitude that I've had in the past a lot of the times. So I think that's still a very big reason why it's so easy to like hate me.
That arrogance kind of was deserved, though. I mean, in a way, I think you're a fantastically talented player. I think most people would agree. You've underachieved, I think, in line with your talents, and I think part of that has been because of this baggage that kind of comes with you, and not all of it your fault. Do you ever look back and think you're a little bit disappointed that maybe you could have done better at other tournaments, maybe won a bit more?
Every time I don't win a tournament, I feel that way, to be honest. But you have to realize that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. The important thing is to do the best of your own abilities. If that's not enough, then you just gotta get back and you got to practice even harder. At least that's the way I look at it, and I think everyone has their own way of dealing with losing and winning and so on. But personally, I just want to leave a mark behind me as at least the best Protoss player in Europe or outside Korea.
Well, one last question just before we leave the emotional side of things and we'll go into business. And that was just recent comments made by In Control, Jeff, where he actually, I mean, and you know, you've stood here and said that you consider yourself to be an honest person, and he made comments insinuating that you were a liar. Was that particularly hurtful? I mean, did you respond to that?
It wasn't really hurtful, but the thing is more that I couldn't understand why he was talking about it. But clearly, I think I can fairly say this, that In Control is not a man who is known for his performance in tournaments, but rather his influence on the scene. And he will say things that will spark attention and that will be talked about. I I'm not saying that it was only to cause drama for no reason, but particularly In Control seems to have, well, I was in talk with EG, and I don't think they really informed him of exactly what was going on. So I think it was mostly like his own opinions with some truth, and then his own opinions formed around it. Because I did ask him for proof straight after in tweets, and he said forget about the whole thing. So I guess they filled him in on the situation.
Okay, so to business. You made a huge decision to go for a personal sponsorship, to kind of do it individually. Can you tell us about that? Like, why did you arrive at that decision?
Well, basically I left Quantic, and as you saw, it was no like fired or I wanted to like break any contract. We just did it legally, no problems and so on. Straight after I left, they talked to me on Skype, my Onyx. I met them at a party in DreamHack, and we spoke together and so on. I had no clue who they were. I was just talking to some random person, I thought, but then they contacted me and said, we talked at this event, you seem really nice, and we'd love to like help you until you get the team first. So they're Swedish, I'm Swedish, so I thought it would be really cool to represent a Swedish company, because I think like we need more national
representation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Dignitas is in UK. There's a lot in Korea. There's a lot in Germany, like Mouse and so on.
So what do you hope to bring to Myonix, and what do Myonix bring to you?
Well, basically, it's still not entirely sure, but they've had some plans for creating a team, perhaps, but perhaps even just me. For me personally, this event was really bad for me, obviously. But before I move forward, I want to show my worth in GSL to Myonix before I go to any other event. Because to me it's really shameful that this was my first performance for them. For them to bring to me, I just hope them to give me as little pressure as possible, because I put enough pressure on myself. Like, it happened in a few teams where they told me when I lost, like, you lost because you did that. Even when I sit and practice like 14 hours a day, and the guy who doesn't even play StarCraft is telling me how to play my game. So I just want to do my thing and just do good for my team, I guess.
What does the future hold for you then? I mean, I guess we'll talk a little bit about this tournament while you're here. Are you going to win it? Where are you going to finish? Who are you going to beat? What are your plans? I mean, like, what goals have you set yourself?
What tournament?
This one.
I already lost.
Oh, you've already gone out? See? I didn't even know. Well, that's a great moment to get on camera. Cheers for that. So, well, there we go then. So, what happened here? Why aren't you in? We'll style it out.
It was disappointing. Yeah. But basically, we mistook the time. We thought the event would start, like, kick off with the open ceremony at 9 and so on. But when I came here at 9, I was already 5 minutes too late to the tournament. So I had to, like, set up my things, no warm-up, just go. And when I get really stressed up, I can't focus. So I really need to sit down, relax, warm up, take my time, and then play. But no excuses more than that. Everyone has bad events, but for this particular one, I just didn't perform to my standards, in my opinion at least.
So who is going to win, in your opinion? I mean, you never seem to be somebody that makes big predictions, and you kind of, I know you kind of keep a respectful silence when it comes to some of the bigger names. Who do you think is going to win this event now that you're out and you can take that kind of backward step?
I don't think there's any like giant favorite in this tournament, because there's no really super player here, in my opinion. Like, there's no one here that I would be afraid of to play. But MC is the favorite in my opinion. Like, there's just something about him that makes him play really well in this kind of tournaments. Like, he seems very good at mind games. Yeah. So I think he has a really good chance. Then Puma is out. I thought he would be a really good player for this kind of event too, since he won like 2 of them, I think. But MC is my pick to win it, if all goes as I think. second place.
Yeah. Is there any dark horses? Maybe any surprise packages? Like, what do you think of your fellow Swede? Sort of. He's very good.
Yeah, I think sort of can get anywhere between first and third if he has his good day. He can win against all players, I think. He beat Hero 3-2 at Assembly, and Hero is better than MC in PVC, sometimes at least.
Have you ever, I mean, do you talk to each other? Do you help him out, or being a more experienced player?
No, I'm not going to take credit for his success at all.
No, I'm not trying to do that to you. I mean, but do you ever get involved? I mean, you're the kind of guy who's been there and done that.
I can't really remember. It's possible that he has asked me for a few things, but nothing big. If he wants my advice, I will gladly help him, of course, but for now I haven't been asked.
Well, look, I think it's great to talk to you, and I hope this has given you an opportunity to put your side of some of the stuff out there, because I know everyone's been kind of making up their own version of the truth. So great to finally get to talk to you on camera, and wish you all the best. And shut up, okay? I didn't know he was out. But anyway, blame the researchers. But anyway, great to talk to Naniwa. You can not follow his progress, but you can follow what's happening at the Intel Extreme Masters here in Cologne Gamescom 2012 on cadred.org. Stay tuned.